If I can't sell it, I'll keep sitting on it before I give it away. You've got to buy it, don't care how much you want it. I mean just what I say. Now feel that nice soft bottom built for wear or tear. I really hate to part with such a lovely chair.
Hello vinyl community, I'm back again to do a departure from the norm, as you can tell from my intro here. And I am talking about erotic stuff that was pressed on the vinyl in the 50s and 60s. Before there was an internet and it was spoon-fed to you, practically. Back when people used their imagination. But anyway, I'm going to be covering three labels that really catered to a particular market. And just kick things off, the first two labels were really started by the same gentleman, and that is Joe Davis, who I'm showing you here. Now, Joe Davis was well known in the New York music scene. He was under contract to Columbia. He was a singer and more importantly a songwriter. He is also well known for bringing Fats Waller out of obscurity and into the recording studio. But I think what he's most well known for is writing the song Perhaps, 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 which was a big hit for Doris Day when she recorded it in the mid-60s. But in the 40s, on 78s, he was pressing records that catered to a very adult audience, like I'm showing you here. And he kicked off two or three different labels. I'm only going to be showing you two here. The first one is Davis Records. And so, he and a couple other guys, but it was mostly him, wrote most of these songs, and they're very Tin Pan Alley-ish, and I will play you a sample here in a moment, and just so you get a flavor for what these are like. But they featured a half nude woman on the cover. This is Girlesque, featuring Faye Richman. And just to show you some of the titles here. So, and on the back, they had advertisements for other records in the catalog. He probably had like 50 or 60 titles, and he cycled through them on his different labels. And my opinion, if you have one, that should be good enough for most people if you're curious, and that's just a warning to you. You seriously don't go out and collect these. It's a novelty. That's what I want to say. Here's another one. Treasure Chest, 88 Spicy Tales Told by Captain Kidd, and this is just adult tongue-in-cheek humor posed by Lynn O'Neill, but she's not on the record, so there's that one. The last one that I have on the Davis catalog is Sex-A-Rama, and I covered up the naughty parts because if you're with me this far, you get a feeling for what to expect. But if you really want to see it, go to Discogs. But again, just to show you the titles, this was not a rehash of Girlesque. Now I'm going to move on to Beacon, and Beacon had a fair share of adult stuff, but there were some jazz titles. So one of the most important records that came out through this label for jazz was Elmo Hope, and this Elmo Hope record's been reissued, but that was probably the most serious title that came out on this label. And so this is my friend Tat, and tit for tat, very funny. Again, just to show you some of the titles. Now, here's another one. Naughty Songs for Nice People. again, different singers. This is more of a compilation, so you see Faye Richmond, Salty Peter, yeah, Miss D, Angelina. So just, you know, a lot of the tracks are the same from record to record, but, you know, they just use different singers. Nothing too special on the back cover here. The label is really kind of plain, and, you know, it's just kind of red. But here's just a sample for you what they sound like.
I know a girl, her name is Kate. Her boyfriend's 6 feet tall. There's one thing about her I don't like. She sits on his lap and balls. She sits on his lap and balls. She sits on his lap and balls.
You must be a painter, 'cause I'm always black and blue. You gotta handle me real easy, or someday you may...
Here's another one. Price is Right, scientifically sung by Claudia Wheeler. Here's some of the song titles. The last one is probably the most famous. You know, it's one that people go after. Not even going to say the title, but it says it all. And yeah. This one I had playing in the background too, my Bobby Z 69 subscriber contest, but I didn't show it. I decided to hold off because I did want to do this video at some point. So now let's move on to the West Coast. The West Coast had their version, and they were on Fax Records. I only have a couple of Fax records, and again, it's more of the same. So I'm not out collecting these. I'm done. You know, if I see it like a couple bucks, then I might pick it up. But no, it's not something I'm gonna return to often. But one of the more popular ones is Kay Martin and her Bodyguards. I Know What He Wants for Christmas, but I don't know how to rap it. This is actually a reissue. But Kay Martin, she had quite the career. She was a singer in Vegas. She did a record on Roulette, which maybe I'll show it another time. But this is just, I grabbed this one because it was on Fax here. But yeah, it's adult humor. Just to show you some of the tracks, if you can make out through the glare. And so now Fax and Beacon and Joe Davis had a connection. And so this is one of the things that I picked up in the big box of schlock from the Houston Record Show. And that's Erotica, The Rhythms of Love. And I kept the sticky note, crazy percussion, and sex samples. I think Chris at Dixieland Farm said, hey, you know, if it looks minty, it's probably awful. And he's absolutely right. This is a near mint record. And this is awful. Now, Beacon also issued this very same one. So they had some type of connection. And here's what the Beacon one looks like. So maybe it was couldn't get Fax on the West Coast, so hey, let's do Beacon. And yeah, this is really terrible. And just to give you a sample here. There you have it. Do you have anything like this in your collection? I'm curious. I'm curious to see what else people have. So hopefully this was a little bit entertaining. Shoot me a comment. Let me know what you think. Are you a collector of these things? Thank you for watching.